Hey, what's up you guys? It's Tonks here. I haven't said that in a very long time. I missed you guys. How have you been? So today I want to do something way different than what I normally do on my channel, but something that I feel like would be a lot of fun for me because I really love tarot cards. So I thought, what better way to enjoy my time on YouTube these days than to review tarot cards. A friend of mine actually suggested it because I am a tarot card junkie and have been buying them out the wazoo lately. I decided that I would give it a shot, and since I already have several decks, I thought I could review those first and then kind of go from there, see what you guys want to see, stuff like that. So I just want to see what kind of decks you guys would like to see from me, and we'll kind of go from there. So any suggestions you guys got, feel free to leave them in the comments below. But today we are going to be checking out a deck that is near and dear to my heart because as a child I absolutely loved this show more than anything, and when I found out that they were going to make a tarot deck on it, oh my heart, I had to have it. Literally the day that it came out I ordered this baby. So today we are talking about the Buffy the Vampire Slayer tarot deck, which I purchased from Amazon. It cost me about $19.59. It does say that the normal price is like $27.99, but I've never actually seen it up that high. It's usually always in the $19 range. The deck itself is absolutely beautiful. We'll get into that. I'll show you guys it. We'll check all that out. The box itself is super cute. Mine did come a little damaged, but even so, I still really love it. And I have to say, because I've been buying tarot decks for years, and just recently I've gotten like really into learning tarot myself. So I'm still like learning the meaning behind all the cards and things like that. So just keep that in mind also while we're doing these reviews. I am still learning. So if you guys have any suggestions or things that I leave out that you want to know, leave that down in the comments as well, and we'll get into that in the next one. And I'll try to answer any questions I can in the comments. But I got a list here of things that my friend and I discussed that we should be mentioning. So these cards are available on Walmart.com. They're available on eBay, Magic.com. There's also a website called Inside Editions, which is the company that actually creates these cards. They have their own little website down here at the bottom as well. So I'm sure you can purchase the deck on there. I didn't check, but I'm sure you can. So the card quality for these, let's just open her up right on camera so you guys can kind of get the idea of what it's like. I have used these already several times and kind of gotten a feel for them beforehand because I've had these for a little while since they came out. But they do come with a little booklet. The booklet itself is nice. It's in color and it gives you like the picture, and it gives you the upright as well as the reversed when it comes to like the explanations. Some of the explanations I don't feel like are as good as others because they try to make them all kind of like Buffy centric, which is really cool. Don't get me wrong, I do really appreciate that, but it makes some of the explanations a little less clear than what I would like. But that being said, it was really nice for what you get. I will say that for this deck, they do change the names of some things. So if you've never done tarot before, or if you're used to like the original of how it works, these are going to be a little bit different for you. So just know that stakes are your wands, the chalices are obviously the cups, the sides are swords, and the pentacles are obviously pentacles. So that does kind of get a little bit confusing. I myself don't typically use the booklet for these because, like I said, it just doesn't give as good of an explanation. I have an app on my phone that I actually use that I really like called the Tarot Deck Writer, and I'll pull it up on my phone real quick so you can kind of see what it looks like. But this is what the app itself looks like, and they will do like the card meanings. You can scroll through and they give you really good explanations on things. This isn't sponsored or anything like that. Obviously, I have like 20 followers, but at the moment, the time of recording this. But it's a really great app if you're trying to learn your tarot. That's more of what I use than this book, just because as fun as it is to have the little like Buffy throwbacks, because they are really cute, like little explanations and stuff, and they do give you cute little Buffy throwbacks. They're just not super great for when you're trying to know what the card meaning is sometimes. Again, not all of them. A lot of them are actually good for the card meanings, but I just prefer to get mine from my app because I already know that those are the meanings that make more sense to me. Getting back into this, this is what the back of the deck looks like. The back of the cards. When you pull them out, they are a decent cardstock. It's not like super thick or anything. Let's see if my camera will focus. They're not super thick. They are pretty bendy. I think the second time that I shuffled this deck, which I'm a little harder on my decks than I should be, but I did end up ripping the Oz card, the Hermit, which I was so sad about because I loved that card and I love this deck, and to rip it first thing when you get it is so depressing because it's not like a terrible rip or anything, it's just a little one. You definitely want to work with these cards a bit if you can though, because when you first get them they're super sticky. I've had them for a while and I've used them a few times and they're still pretty sticky for me. So it does depend on how you tend to shuffle your deck on whether or not the cardstock is going to be a problem for you. If you're one of the people that, you know, does your cards like this and this is how you get the card, you just keep going until something falls out, that's not going to work super great with these because these are a matte deck. And like I said, they stick together pretty well, so it's going to be a little bit of an issue to do that. And I think that's part of how mine got ripped in the first place, was because this deck is just too fragile for that, unfortunately, because that is how I like to pull out my cards. But what can you do? So the artwork on these is fabulous. I will actually lay it out and show you guys everything that's on these cards, but the cards are so pretty and they throw back to some characters that it's just really exciting to see. Like, you can tell that the people who made these cards loved Buffy very much, just like I do. So it's such a nice Buffy memorabilia thing to have. Like, you even get Faith in here, you get Clem. You get Clem in here, you get the original Slayer, like, you get all kinds of characters that, you know, it's super exciting. The only cop-out cards that I really have found are like the aces, which isn't necessarily a cop-out, but it kind of feels like a cop-out because they're the only ones that don't actually have like a character on them. But again, I'll show you guys all the cards when we get there. So on a scale of 1 to 5 stars for these cards, I would definitely give them, as well, we'll say 1 to 4, 1 out of 4, you know, stars, whatever. I would definitely give this deck a 4. If you're new to tarot, this might not be the best deck for you, just because, again, like, they do change it from size and swords to size and the wands to stakes. So that can make it a little bit more confusing, especially if you're trying to actually learn new tarot. These might not be the absolute best deck for you, but if you can remember that the stakes are wands and the swords are scythes, it's not too bad, honestly. And like I said, the only issue I really had with this deck was just that the card ripped on me so fast. That was so upsetting to me because it was literally like the second time I shuffled them. I hadn't even done a reading with them yet and the card ripped. And that was just heartbreaking for me. But other than that, I actually really do love this deck. I like the box that it comes in. A lot of thought was put into this deck and I appreciate that so much. You can tell who the characters are just from looking at it. It's not hard to figure out that that's Ethan. You know what I mean? Like, the people who did this, they loved Buffy. So if you love Buffy, this is definitely a good deck. As for mileage, like I said, you have to be gentler with these cards than what you might be hoping for. But if you're good to your cards and you're not a ruffian like I am, they're not going to be a bad deck for you to have. And I have tried these out for a few readings. I do feel like they had accuracy to them, but that's going to be different for everybody. Some decks, no matter how much you love them, you just don't vibe with them. This one, luckily, thank God, I did vibe with because I love this card. I love it. I do love this deck very much, so I was super excited that you know, it did vibe with me and I was able to get an accurate reading from it. But like I said, with that, it just varies from person to person. There's no guarantees that a deck that you get is going to vibe with you. Like, at one point, I had the Welcome to Night Vale tarot deck, and it was one of my favorite tarot decks. It was beautifully done. The artwork was amazing. It had all kinds of like stuff that, you know, if you love Welcome to Night Vale, you were gonna know like where this came from, and you were gonna like feel the vibes with it. And as much as I wanted that deck to work for me, it just wouldn't. I could never get it to work for me. I could never get it to read accurately for me. I tried all different ways of breaking the cards in, like sleeping with them under my pillow, you know, shuffling them for hours, just trying to get my energy in there, cleansing them, and then doing it all over again, and I just couldn't get it to work. So sometimes some tarot decks, they just don't vibe with you, but fortunately for me, this deck did. But I thought you guys might like to see what these cards actually look like when they're being shuffled. I thought that might be like a better idea for you guys as to, you know, the quality of the deck. So I'm gonna bring you guys down here and show you what's up. Okay guys, so I may or may not have accidentally broken my camera stand, and I'm now having to record this on my phone. Don't judge me, I have issues. So I'm still gonna show you guys the basic camera fold. I apologize, I have to record this on my old phone, and so I've got like a bunch of old notifications coming through. So if it dings, I apologize. Okay, here we go. So here is your basic shuffle. As you can see, they are pretty soft. So you can shuffle them easy. I don't recommend shuffling them like that though, or you'll end up like me and have the ripped card, which is still a heartbreaker. But that's just your basic shuffle. I like to do them like that. As you can see, they do stick together really well, so if you're a person that shuffles like this to get the cards to fall out, this is not going to be the deck for you, at least for that purpose. I definitely recommend not shuffling them quite like that unless you want huge chunks, because as you can see, you're going to get multiples coming out if you shuffle like that, like I do. So this is definitely the kind of deck where you just want to shuffle and try to pull. Now, there's the other side of that Oz card, so you guys can see what the rip looks like up close, which makes me so sad because this is such a good one. Such a goodie. But yeah, so you always know when you're going to pull the Hermit, unfortunately. But otherwise, I do really love this deck. I do recommend it. I think that's about all I've got for you. Oh, I guess we could talk about the size of these cards. These are the standard size for a tarot deck. So they're not too big, they're not too small, they're not, tarot decks do run bigger than your standard, like, playing card. So these are definitely bigger than your standard playing card, but that's what tarot decks typically are. You can get smaller decks. I have a few that are smaller. I like to have like the smaller cards to use for clarification. We will go over some smaller decks that I have. So yeah, I hope this was helpful to you. Like I said, if there's anything else that you guys would like to know, feel free to leave that in the comments below. If you guys are interested in maybe instead of me sitting here talking to you like this, I could always be doing my makeup while we're doing this, and we can kind of have a chat that way. I can kind of fill you in on my life and things like that as I'm putting the makeup on, and then we can get into the deck. I don't know, just a thought. It's something that might be fun for us to do if you guys are interested. But you guys just let me know what you want to see. If there's something that I missed, these particular deck, you just let me know. And let's get into you guys getting to check these puppies out. I will get them laid out on my table. Excuse the paint. I do paint on this table, so it's got some paint and some makeup and things on it. Okay guys, so here is the first batch. And I will show you when we get to his card, the one that I did accidentally rip. Ignore my dirty floor. But as you can see here, it's just a tiny tear. It's not anything too terrible, but it is really sad to happen right out the gate. Okay guys, so as you can see, from some of this artwork. If you love Buffy, some of this artwork will put you in your feels, man. That's all I can say. Especially if you know the meaning of the card and you see this artwork, like, in your feels, man. Which I gotta say I really love. Like, I love a deck that can just pull you in and, like, you can just look at the card and you know what it's trying to tell you. To me, that's, like, the best. So I really, really love this deck. And feel free to pause if you want to, you know, check something out up close a little bit better. We got one more set to go, guys. Alright, kiddos, last round. So I hope you guys enjoy the deck as much as I do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it brought you some, I don't know, it helped you decide whether or not to get the deck. But I will say, if you really want a deck, like you really want to try it, it's best to just buy the deck and try it out for yourself, because I can give you all the reviews and tell you that it worked out great for me, and then you get it and you just might not have that same luck, or a deck that doesn't work for me might work out perfectly for you and you might just absolutely love it, you know? So that's, I mean, that's just the name of the game. Sometimes you just gotta take the, if you really want a deck, just buy it. That's all I can say for that, is just buy it and check it out for yourself, because what vibes for me may not vibe for you, and that's just unfortunately how it goes sometimes. I hope this was helpful, and if you got any suggestions or any decks you'd like to see, leave them down below. And until next time, enjoy the cards, guys!